The opinions expressed on this program are solely those of its hosts, guests, or callers, and do not necessarily represent the opinions of WTBR-FM, its management, other producers, or sponsors.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. This is the Cultural Pittsfield Radio Show. We're so happy to be on WTBR 89.7 FM, Pittsfield Community Radio. My name is Jen Glockner. I'm the Director of the Office of Cultural Development for the City of Pittsfield. Bev Prentice is operating the board. It's a beautiful spring morning when we are recording this, starting in the 30s, ending in the 70s, as we do in May in the Berkshires. Rebecca Brien is here from Downtown Pittsfield, Inc. to talk about all the things, all period, the period, things period. There are a lot of things to talk about in Pittsfield. And Rebecca, I was telling Rebecca before we went on air that last show, we had this little lesson on the differences between the organizations. Yeah. And that was very good. So we'll get into more of that.
And I learned from that.
Yes, you did, which the difference between our Office of Cultural Development, Downtown Pittsfield, Inc., and One Berkshire. So Downtown Pittsfield, Inc. is essentially the Chamber of Commerce for Downtown Pittsfield. In a nutshell, I say that, which is much more than that. But we have tons of things happening in downtown these days.
So many things. Every day my to-do list keeps getting longer and longer, but the number of people coming downtown gets larger and larger. It's great.
It is great. Very, very cool. And we had the first Friday's Arts Walk of the season, the first Friday of May, which was a booming success.
We were able this year to actually expand that first Friday's Arts Walk. So we have more restaurants and more retailers with more artists showing their, paintings and artwork. But we also then added a night market, our first Friday's Arts Market. We're working with Liam Gorman from CosQuest, and every month we will be having artists actually under their tents selling their goods, along with a food truck. This past time we had La Chalupa. We also had Shire Donuts. It was amazing. So many people attended. We also added music in Persit Park. Great stage.
Live music.
Live music every month. And then we'll have an artist or a performer in Sotilli Park right across the way. So this past month we actually had a potter doing his wheel. Next month we are having a fire juggler.
Ooh.
And we'll also have an artist doing painting in the future as well. So
it's very cool. It's a great vibe downtown. So First Friday's Arts Walk started a long time ago, more than 10 years ago. Mary McGinnis, the brainchild of First Friday's Arts Walk. And the concept is to incorporate art into businesses downtown. So I remember back in the day, they would say, if you went into a store to see art and they happened to sell suits or nice shirts, then you would say the next time you needed a suit or a nice shirt, you would say, oh, I remember that store. It's top of mind awareness, the whole concept of mixing art, business, economic development downtown. And that was an awesome thing to start First Friday's Arts Walk years ago when Mary McGinnis did. It has evolved into more of a community gathering, and Hot Plate Brewing, of course, came to Pittsfield within the last 6 months. And this is its first full summer open in Pittsfield, and they are a key part to the downtown area and wanting to host things associated with any event happening. So you're calling this First Friday's Arts Walk expanded, or is that?
Yes, it's an expanded version. I mean, at this point, we actually have artists all the way from the Clock Tower tower. They have multiple artists there that have things on display. We actually took over Framework for this month, and one of the brand new businesses that is coming downtown, Bottomless Bricks, actually held
Bottomless Bricks.
Sorry,
no, that's okay. Guess what Bottomless Bricks is? What business?
I'm afraid to know.
No, it's Legos.
Lego.
Is it really?
Yes. Erin Laundrie is now this famous Lego builder. She was on Lego Masters, this show on TV, and she is opening a store in Pittsfield called Bottomless Bricks, and she is really cool and does all these cool things with Legos.
She must have a fantastic sense of humor.
Yes, she does.
And it was great. She did actually a community quilt made out of Lego as the program that for this past First Friday's Arts Walk, but we'll be activating that space again as we go forward with other artists and other programs. And of course, our paint and sip that came about last year for the First Friday's Arts Walk was also running. St. Stephen's Church helps us out with that, which is great. The funny thing is I got an email from the City of Pittsfield's permitting department saying I hadn't applied for a liquor license. Obviously, they did not realize that it is juice boxes and animal crackers, and it's all kids.
It's paint and sip for children.
Yes.
So it's lemonade, juice boxes, animal crackers.
Yes.
It's very, very cute. And the kids love it. It's a 4x4 square
Yes.
canvas, and the theme is different every month, and the kids just love it.
And it's free. That's the other thing. With the First Friday's Arts Walk, all of these things that you can do, whether it be following our app store to see the art, whether it's the community quilt, whether it's listening to the music, or the kids paint and sip, all of these programs are free. So that is very important for all of our individuals to understand.
Yes. And
So-
that's amazing for the community to have free events to go to. Speaking of free, we do have Third Thursday starting off, which we've been talking about leading up. The first Third Thursday of the season is in May, and it is May 18th. Thursday, May 18th. There will be one in May, June, July, and August. Thursday, May 18th is the first Third Thursday of the season at the Commons, sponsored by General Dynamics Mission Systems. Thank you, General Dynamics. They will be doing an interactive experiment, and we will have lots of youth-themed performers, including Kids for Harmony, Andreas Ramirez, and Funkbox, the breakdancing studio, will be coming out of the studio. There's going to be an excerpt from the Magic Tree House, Berkshire Theater Group's Magic Tree House performers, Night Before Dawn. They go around from all the schools performing in all of the elementary schools. They'll be doing an excerpt. So we're super excited to kick off the season for Third Thursday, and food trucks will be out and about. There's a bike month awareness event. Margie Cohn and Nick Russo spearheading that. They're so great in doing all this fun bike stuff throughout the community this month and every month. But this month is more heavily promoted because it's bike month. So we're excited. It's May. The flowers are blooming. The buds are out. Woo! Right? Very, very cool. Rebecca Brien from Downtown Pittsfield Inc., the managing director of Downtown Pittsfield Inc. is here. And you mentioned briefly the app. Let's talk about the Downtown Pittsfield app.
Many people are not aware of our Downtown Pittsfield app, and what it actually holds, for the most part, as we talked about, is the First Friday's Arts Walk map and where all the exhibits are. And that's sort of the modern version of what it used to be, where you had an individual giving the tour. But the other thing that's in this app includes all of the artscape, which includes murals and the paint boxes that are in the downtown itself. Right now, we are highlighting our story walk with Fairy Slippers, Molly Saves the Bees that is downtown.
Yes, that's sweet.
And then it gets updated, obviously, every month for our First Friday's Arts Walk. You can see where you can eat downtown. You can see where you can shop. You can also see the beautiful Lightscapes map as well. We're going to be expanding this as the year goes on to include more and more items. Wow. I can't wait. I want the teens to tell me the best place to do the TikToks are and put a map for that.
There you go. That's definitely not my category or strength or strong point, but the teens will give us lots of insight. So the app is called Downtown Pittsfield, and the icon that you see is Pittsfield, the heart of the Berkshires, and it's free to download on your phone.
Yes.
And it's really cool. I mean, even if you're not attending First Friday's Arts Walk and you're just looking to walk around and see the public art in Pittsfield, it's cool to say, oh, wow, here's another electrical load box that was painted as part of the Artscape paint box program, and you can see all of them. Thank you. Say that 3 times fast. You can't do that. You can see all of them on the app, and it's very cool to follow around, and it's part of the times. I mean, gone are the brochures that are carried around by everyone all of the time for every single thing. So we appreciate the Downtown Pittsfield app and all that it shows us.
And feel free to email me if you have ideas on what type of guides you want to have in the downtown, in the app itself. We're looking to add more as we go on, as I said.
There are tons of opportunities for that app, but it's also what kind of capacity does Rebecca Brien and Kim Gritman have. So we take it slowly and enjoy what's on the app right now, because it's a wonderful thing. Once again, this is the Cultural Pittsfield radio show. We're so happy to be on WTBR 89.7 FM, Pittsfield Community Radio. My name is Jen Glockner. I'm the director of the Office of Cultural Development for the City of Pittsfield. We have Rebecca Brien, the managing director from Downtown Pittsfield, Inc., on the show. Rebecca's office and our office work very closely on all of the things we do. Cultural Pittsfield, the Office of Cultural Development, is a part of the City of Pittsfield. We are a department in the City of Pittsfield. We are housed at the Lichtenstein Center for the Arts on Rennie Avenue, rotating art gallery, and several artist studios in there. And we have a show in First Friday's Arts Walk. First Friday's Arts Walk is led by Downtown Pittsfield, Inc., Rebecca Brien and Kim Gritman. Kim Gritman is the official coordinator, quote unquote, of First Friday's Arts Walk. So we are working closely on all of the things. We have mentioned kind of on and off, but not really gotten into a lot of the details about the TDI in downtown Pittsfield, the Transformative Development Initiative. I do think there could be a quiz on all the acronyms.
I know.
I'm not sure I would pass, frankly, on some of them, but I do know a few of them. TDI is Transformative Development Initiative. And some people might say this sounds familiar because this happened on Tyler Street a few years back. This one that is currently underway is specific to downtown Pittsfield.
Yes.
And Rebecca Brien and Downtown Pittsfield, Inc. are heavily involved, as is the City of Pittsfield. We are all partners in this. So let's talk about TDI and what is happening.
The great thing about TDI is it really is a partnership. And there are multiple organizations that are involved, including ours. We can look at the Colonial Theater is involved, and many of the banks, institutions, because we are looking for individuals who want to spearhead and help to put together things that are going on in downtown. So one of the great things that they have provided for us is funding for our new Vibe North Street grant. And that is specifically to give incentives for new businesses to open in downtown. We're working with the Berkshire Black Economic Council on that. Those applications are currently open, and that's providing funding anywhere from $7,500 to $25,000 for an incoming business to fill an open space in the downtown that is forward-facing, window front, and those applications are underway. So, when you talk about what's going on downtown, that's something that's always front of mind for everyone, including TDI program, the DPI program, and anyone, the City of Pittsfield itself. So that in itself is wonderful. But then you add on to that the fact that they spearheaded our Halloween event that happened this past year, the Downtown Pittsfield It's Alive. We are working with them right now, looking to fund a number of new murals in the downtown area, along with the City of Pittsfield and Artscape and programming. We're looking to engage the teen set, again, to make sure that we are listening to everybody in our community. We are also working with them on a program to light up downtown, making sure that all of our alleyways that connect to our downtown and our parking areas are brightly lit and activated, and maybe a mural or a fun TikTok area being there. So there are so many things in work, and the nice thing is what they do for us is they make connections. Julie Kopelos is our fellow that is here in downtown Pittsfield, and her job is just to connect the right people. We've talked about what if. What if we had the funding? What if we had the time? What if we had the capacity? And Julie really is taking that mass development program, putting the right people together, putting the right programs together, and taking those what ifs and making them really happen.
And this is a Mass Development TDI program, and it's 3 years long. So Julie Kopoulos, you mentioned, is the fellow from TDI. So she is the boots on the ground person in Pittsfield that you see. And often you'll see her because she walks around a lot. And so people have mentioned to me, who's this girl, Julie, walking around? And I'm like, well, you should meet Julie. So because she's trying to connect with all of the people to do all of the things. So she is really the boots on the ground fellow from the TDI, Mass Development's TDI, and it is a 3-year program, which makes me happy because often by the time you plan something and execute it, your 1 year is over if it's only a 1-year long program. So it's nice that she is looking to plan 3-year long strategies and initiatives. And
we all talk about wanting things to happen. And, I just celebrated my 1-year anniversary with DPI myself. And it's like all of the things we've talked about have taken a full year for them to come full circle. Mm-hmm. And when you're talking about some of these larger projects and some of the funding that needs to be applied for and then brought to fruition, as you said, 1 year really is just the start. And it's I think for the public sometimes it's difficult to understand that there's so much going on behind the scenes that maybe you don't know is in works. I recently had someone say, well, what if, why aren't you doing this? And it's like, well, we are, but you're not going to see it for another 6 months, and as you said, 3 years there's so much that's going to be accomplished. And that is then just going to help with those connections and those partnerships and those collaborations to continue moving forward.
That's right. Part of the TDI, the Mass Development TDI program, is exactly what you just said. They're not going to just leave after 3 years. They're trying to put programs in place with staying power to say, all right, we're going to start this up for Pittsfield, and we're going to give you the tools to continue doing this if you so desire, which is...
That's a great idea.
It's so great because sometimes grants, entities come in and say, boom, this is what we're doing. But then it's over and there's no strategy to keep the program going. And this Mass Development and the TDI program is doing that to keep the program going. And the cool thing about Julie, again, is that this program, Mass Development's TDI, it happens across the state of Massachusetts. So there are instances in Lowell or Lynn that are applicable to Pittsfield, and they can say, wow, this community did this, and we think it will really work well in Pittsfield, or a version of it. So there's templates to work with, where we're all about that in cultural development. Mass Cultural Council often tells us about things happening across the state, and we use the template. And if someone wants to use our template, we give them the template to use because it's all about sharing what works. So I think that's another benefit to the TDI is that they have good examples. And frankly, they have things that might not have worked. And so they know what not to do also. So we're very thankful that Julie is here. And if you see her, wave to her and say hello. And she's usually up for coffee to learn more about what you're doing for Pittsfield or what an idea you might have.
For example, the Vibe grant that we spoke of, this is sort of a pilot for them because they've never done anything like this before. But we're already putting together best practices for them to do this in future TDI areas. And at the same time, we're taking some of their examples for murals and how that could lead into an annual festival or how that could lead into ongoing programming moving forward. So it is really a great thing. A best practice or a pilot program, as we've said, just gives an example of how we can grow.
Yes.
This is great for cities that have more than, say, 10,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
What about, like in the hill towns? Would something like that work?
Well, I think that there are qualifications for TDI. Versions of what we're talking about would work anywhere. And frankly, there might be less bureaucracy in the hill towns, for lack of a better word. So I feel like if someone wants to paint a mural somewhere in Beckett or Washington or wherever, and they ask the building owner or property owner or whatever, and they say yes, then it gets painted. It's a little more complicated in Pittsfield to go through all of the hoops, and the hoops are necessary. They're there for people's safety, and we're not saying that they're not necessary, but I think there's versions of what's happening in Pittsfield that can happen anywhere.
Again, the program itself has opened up my eyes to the number of grants that are available. And how you can apply for them. You know, much of the funding that Julie has brought to us are mass development and specific to TDI, but we're also working on other funding and other grants that are available to bring other items to the area. So for me, it's now navigating where those grants are available, how we can get funding, and those types of grants. There are ones that are specific to the hill towns, as opposed to specific to, a city or a larger entity. I know we've been working very closely also with Karen Pelto with the Berkshire Regional Planning, where her job right now is to help people or businesses or organizations find funding to be able to move forward. You know, as we're coming out of the pandemic, everybody has so much that they want to do, but how do you find the money? And right now, those are the types of things that DPI is looking to do.
Absolutely. Once again, this is the Cultural Pittsfield Radio Show. We're so happy to be on WTBR 89.7 FM, Pittsfield Community Radio. My name is Jen Glockner. I'm the director of the Office of Cultural Development for the City of Pittsfield. We have Bev Prentice operating the board. Always. Thank you, Bev.
You're welcome.
And Rebecca Brien is the guest this week from Downtown Pittsfield, Inc. We're talking about all things Pittsfield. And this is recorded on a Wednesday. It airs on a Friday, and it airs sometimes a couple Fridays in a row. But I do want to mention how excited we are that Anna Reyes, the author of The House in the Pines, is coming to Pittsfield. This author, I guess I don't have a lot of experiences with authors or writers, but she has been so nice. I reached out to her on Instagram. She's written right back. She's so genuine. She's so thankful for all of the enthusiasm coming from Pittsfield. So this book, The House in the Pines, is set in Pittsfield.
I read it.
Oh, yay!
After your little talk about it before, I read it.
Yay! And wasn't it cool to see, like, they hiked up Bosque and they talked about the beautiful landscape. The Pittsfield Berkshire Athenaeum Terrace was a very key part of this setting. The lake, obviously,
Right.
and the diner, quote unquote, is totally Misty Moonlight. I mean, they called it the diner, but we all know it was Misty Moonlight. The popcorn wagon, all these, like, really cool parts of Pittsfield that are a part of our everyday life, but they were set in this book. So she is coming to Pittsfield the weekend of May 12th, 13th, 14th, and there are several events on May 13th that you can attend to meet her. There's a meet and greet at the library on the terrace from 10 to 11 in the morning, and that's very informal. Coffee, donuts, hello. You can bring your book if you want. She'll sign your book. It's totally informal. And then there's a more formal event at the Colonial Theater at 1 o'clock with WAMC's Joe Donahue. He will be moderating a conversation with Anna about the book, and he's actually recording this conversation, and it will be on the WAMC program, The Book Show, coming up. So that's going to be really cool. That's at 1 o'clock at the Colonial Theater on the stage of the Colonial. So we're super grateful for Berkshire Theater Group to come together with us to make that happen. And then there's a scavenger hunt throughout the weekend of some of those locations that I mentioned. And if you do the right hashtags that we can easily find, you do have a chance to win some prizes. Selfies with hashtags are the key. If you don't do the hashtags, we can't find your posts. So the hashtags are key to finding your posts. Isn't that right?
Yes.
Okay. Because I think that's right, but my teenage boys might be like, Mom, what, you don't know what you're talking about. But I'm pretty sure that's right. You need to use the proper hashtags, which are Love Pittsfield, and we actually are doing the House in the Pines scavenger hunt as a hashtag to make it super easy. So we are very grateful for Anna Reyes and her enthusiasm for Pittsfield. And her mom still lives in Western Massachusetts. She might be coming back. She has family here. So it'll be cool to hear firsthand her story of why she chose Pittsfield and her continuing enthusiasm for the Pittsfield community. We're super grateful for that. All of that stuff is on lovepittsfield.com. Always the events that we're talking about are on lovepittsfield.com. We have Rebecca Brien here, as I said, from Downtown Pittsfield, Inc., talking about all things Pittsfield. First Friday's Arts Walk expanded. Third Thursday, which is happening now, May, June, July, and August. And the Downtown Pittsfield, the Pittsfield Farmers Market is coming back outside, which is such a joyful part of the season when you can go to the Common and see the farmers market.
Starting last year, they've been expanding that second Saturday to include a maker's market. So again, there's so much going on. So they'll have individuals who are selling, jewelry or T-shirts or things like that, in addition to the normal, produce. So that's always a fun time.
Yes, and that is starting on May 13th, every Saturday at the Common from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And, make it a part of your weekly ritual. Go there in the morning. Usually Nick Russo and Crosswalk Coffee is there. Grab a coffee from Nick, walk around, grab whatever you need, and think about a meal you might be cooking that weekend using produce and products from the Pittsfield Farmers Market.
Supporting our local farmers is so important. When you look at the economy here in the Berkshire County area, those are something that often are forgotten.
Yes.
That we have some great farms, and supporting them is important.
Yes, we agree. And Jess Vecchia is the executive director of the Pittsfield Farmers Market, and she, Roots Rising, which runs the Pittsfield Farmers Market. That's a whole nother conversation about how they fall into, that will be a future trivia conversation.
Yes. Okay.
But Roots Rising runs the farmers market, and Jess Vecchia is rocking it as always. So the Pittsfield Farmers Market outdoor season begins May 13th, runs through October 8th-ish.
Yes.
And 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. every Saturday in the Common. And the Pittsfield Farmers Market does cool things like, if Berkshire Pride is having their festival at the Common on the same day as the farmers market, they will collaborate and overlap easily and say, what can we do to help? Or the Pittsfield Jazz Showcase is happening on July 8th at the Common. Again, there's a little bit of overlap. So what can we do to help? Which is the spirit of Pittsfield and the cultural organizations. So we're grateful. We can talk a little bit about Pride, which there will be another show, I believe, before that. But Saturday, June 3rd, and actually beyond, it's now a whole weekend.
Yes, so we're starting, I believe Hot Plate actually is starting us off on Wednesday night at their location. As you get into the weekend on Friday, of course, the First Friday's Arts Walk will be themed for Pride. They're doing, I know, a dance party that night after the event. And then there are multiple things on Sunday going on, including a tea at Nomkeg. So, again, when you talk about the Pride Festival itself, there will be so many of us there. Downtown Pittsfield, Inc. and Premium Waters is actually providing a water tent this year, and a nice little gathering area that's a little bit more quiet. And, we might have a DJ there as well that is sort of set aside, but then they'll have all of their vendors and all of their programming, food trucks, and as we said, it will all be in collaboration along with the Pittsfield Farmers Market.
Yes, and that is Saturday, June 3rd. And I love what Berkshire Pride is doing this year. They're upping their social media game like crazy. We just keep sharing stuff, and they're having these video testimonials, advertisements, I don't know what the word is, of how Pride is all year.
Absolutely.
Like there is a month to celebrate Pride, but I love there are these people talking about how Pride is all year, and I'm sharing, but it's such an amazing celebration that day at the Common on June 3rd to see the community come together to celebrate love of all kinds. So definitely save the date, Saturday, June 3rd, but now it's expanded. Of course, First Friday's Arts Walk on June 2nd. Is a Pride themed. Hot Plate, Hot Plate is getting in on the game because they're getting in on all the games in their collaborative spirit. And then there's an after party, and there's something Sunday, as you said, a tea at Nomkeg. So Berkshire Pride is definitely rocking it this year. So support them. Follow them on social media if you want to know about all of the things, because they're doing a great job doing that. And we have talked about First Friday's Arts Walk, which does have its own website, firstfridaysartswalk.com. I didn't know if it was org or com. firstfridaysartswalk.com. But we have lovepittsfield.com, and then Downtown Pittsfield Inc. has their website. Pretty much you can find what we're talking about on any of the websites we're describing because we're all in it together.
Absolutely.
And we're almost through the half hour, and we've only really
Gotten to June.
to June, which is fine. All of the things that Downtown Pittsfield Inc. and Cultural Pittsfield do, I mean, it's so collaborative and just awesome, right?
Working together is what's really going to make our downtown and the city of Pittsfield come alive and be fabulous as always.
That's right. All right. Thanks, Rebecca, for all you do
Thank you.
always. And thank you, Bev, for
You're
operating
welcome.
the board. Have a wonderful week, everybody.